IDBI Bank as well. There are hopes that maybe in fact the divestment could wait by for a confirmation, but for the time being that stock as well did do pretty well in today's trading session. NDPC Green Energy, well, the stock goes home with a gain of close to around 4%. Numbers look good, but it's returned almost back to the IPO price as well. A few more big winners from the broader markets. Ecos India Mobility, well, that one continues to chug along. It came out with its numbers a couple of sessions ago. For this week itself, it's up close to around 23%. So big move is what we're seeing on that name as well. Products, that's the other one. For this week, it's up 35%. Came out with its set of numbers. The stock has been running along and it continues to do so as well. So we'll wind up on trade today with news that the Nifty goes home with a century of gains. The Nifty Bank ended above the 20-day MA. Breadth of the market, that was the big strong point today because you had close to two stocks that were advancing for one stock that was declining. But on that note though, we'll wrap up on this edition of Closing Bell. Don't go anywhere. Markets Forward comes up next.
Sensex and 0.5% higher. Nifty reclaims 24,800. Mid-caps outperform index, the benchmark indices and gains nearly 1%.
Technology cracks in trade after it misses the revenue mark on stagnant mobile sales and weakness in consumer electronics and home appliances. However, the management guides for 40-45% growth in the top line next year.
6 firms lining up for a listing in May. Bellrise Industries 150 crore rupees IPO opens for subscription today, while Leela Hotels looks to raise 3,500 crore rupees at a price band of 430. And welcome to Markets Forward on CNBC-TV18, your go-to show where we aim to get you all the points to gear you up for the next day. On the next is my colleague Reema. Reema, hi.
Hi, a pretty good session, right? We managed to recoup part of yesterday's, held on to the 24,800 mark. The sensex gained close to about 400 points, and we pretty much snapped a 3-day losing streak. The mid-caps outperformed while the benchmark indices were up 0.5%. The mid-cap index was up nearly 0.8%. Good advanced decline ratio. The advanced decline ratio nearly had about 3 stocks advancing. 2 stocks closed in the red, but the big gainers include defense, realty, and pharma led today. The Nifty Pharma percent. So you had gains in stock Cipla, Sun Pharma. That was a big winner on the way up. On the way down, Innocent Bank under pressure ahead of its numbers. Stock ending lower by 2%.
Absolutely, Reema. While yes, the Nifty did manage to close about the 24,800 mark, one factor that one should keep an eye out on that we have closed below the 25,000 mark consecutively for the third trading session. So today that recovery has surely come in versus what we had seen in terms of the last 3 trading sessions. Nifty is up almost 0.5%. Broader markets, like you already mentioned, saw the outperformance, and other than that we have realty as a sector that's doing well as well in the last couple of trading sessions. Nifty Realty, we had a lot of gainers coming in, DLF, Phoenix Limited as well, which was passing a trade. But yes, that's what is exciting in terms of market. At least we've seen some bit of a recovery. But well, here's what we have in store for you all in today's show. We'll start with the top movers and shakers of the day with Vivek. And well, the stocks of the day were Dixon Technologies, Sun Pharma, JK Tyre. We will give the key reasons why these stocks were buzzing in today's trading session. Last but not the least, we'll delve into the key market events to watch out for in tomorrow's trading session.
And let's get to our first segment of the day, and that's the big stock movers. Vivek is now at the big wall.
Well, thank you so much for that. Snapping a multiple day losing streak, advanced decline ratio very strong. Not much to complain about for the bulls today. Well, in the list of gainers, the first stock on the radar has to be one from the defense pack. A very strong bounce back across most of the defense names. Solar industry, this particular stock, good set of numbers, strong management guidance coming about. Stock higher by over 5%. Bharat Electronics, one stock you alluded to. Remember, the company gave a very good set of numbers. The margin guidance that the company gave in the conference call is something that has led to EPS upgrades. The stock ended higher, over 5%, the top Nifty gainer today. Siemens, this particular stock, last couple of trading sessions was under a bit of pressure, but remember yesterday the company actually held an analyst call, and the management guidance is something that the street clearly has liked. Over 5% higher for Siemens today. Quite a sharp up move for the size of Siemens. Dredging Corp, this particular stock, not one that we discuss too often, but very good set of numbers as far as Q4 were concerned. Operational efficiencies seen across all of the parameters. Stock ended higher by over 10% on good volumes. And to round off the list, another sector that you alluded to earlier is the pharma pack. The entire pharma pack, after quite a few days of underperformance today, bounced back in style. Sun Pharma over 1.5% higher. Names like Gland Pharma, Natco, all of them doing very well in the session. But a few laggards as well, few and far between. Dixon Technologies delayed as far as one key shipment to a supplier is concerned. That is something that actually kept the street a little worried. High valuations is the other key concern why this particular stock sold off today. Aster DM, good set of results, but despite that, the stock sold off after opening slightly higher, over 4.5% lower today, and one of the top laggards as far as the NSE 500 was concerned. And News and Software, this particular name, after a while, one of the top laggards as far as the NSE mid-cap index was concerned. So overall, a day where you saw more gainers rather than losers.
Okay, Vivek, thank you so much for that. But we do have with us Sudip Bandopadhyay, Group Chairman at IndiTrade Capital, joining in with us on the show as well. Sudip, thank you so much for joining in with us as always. Any of the names that you find attractive in the market right now? Today, surely we've seen a bit of a recovery. One, do you think that will sustain? And what are you looking at in terms of a sector?
Recovery is definitely here to stay. I think, but it will be a slow and gradual process. I also expect some amount of volatility. Look, we are now heading towards that, 90-day period of that tariff truce, which is going to end sometime in early June. So we have to keep the volatility in mind in and around that. As far as these results are concerned and sectors and stocks are concerned, I do like the power financials, and PFC results were pretty good as well. So one can definitely look at PFC and even the other power financials, REC and IREDA. The other bunch of numbers which I watched with care was the tire company results. Though the results were nothing great, I think the commentary around the significant cost reduction of their raw material cost as well as multiple other cost parameters, I think gives them a great leeway in going forward in Q1 and Q2 of the current fiscal as far as margin improvement is concerned. So tire is another segment, whether it's a JK Tire or a CI at levels.
Okay, like PFC, like tire companies like JK Tyres, Seat. We also have with us Jay Thakur from ICICI Securities. Jay closed higher today, but we've still not made up for the losses of the prior session. In the near term, what's the trading call?
Good afternoon to you, Rima and Vinny. Well, 5,000 is where Nifty is clearly. Rima, I mean, that's what we have been seeing, that Nifty bounced back quite sharply, approximately 24,000 levels, but then it has taken a pause at 25,000 levels and 5,000. So until those levels aren't taken off on the spot levels I'm talking about, till then, Nifty might just consolidate, or maybe, you can see some volatility going up as well, because since a couple of days we have seen that India VIX is also inching higher. I mean, it's not able to sustain below 15 and a half, and from those levels it's bouncing back about 17 and a half. So I think that Bank Nifty 55,500 on a closing basis, Nifty 25,000 on a closing basis. Till these levels are not taken off, these two indices are likely to consolidate. However, going forward, I think Bank Nifty would definitely help Nifty to inch higher, because eventually when 55,500 gets taken off on Bank Nifty, Rima, 57,000 would be the next target on Bank Nifty. So overall, positionally, I think the trend is positive. Short-term consolidation cannot be ruled out. However, the sectors which had performed quite well today, like that of defense, pharma, they are likely to continue their up move, even for that matter Nifty Realty Index. So I think a couple of stocks from these names, from these sectors, would likely to continue despite the index consolidation.
Absolutely, Jay. Surely we'll be keeping an eye out on these sectors as well and on the index and the levels over there. But let's move on and get more stock specific then and talk about Dixon Technologies. That tanked over 6%, and this came in after a miss in terms of the revenue mark, but the company remained upbeat, aims to double its revenues in 2 to 3 years. Upasana is joining in with us to give us more details on this front. Upasana, what are we keeping an eye out on in terms of Dixon Technologies going forward?
Firstly, let me highlight the Q4 numbers. The Q4 growth was mainly led by company's mobile and EMS segment. And if we talk about the FY25 revenue, it stood at 38,860 crore, which was below the 40,000 crore mark given by the company in terms of guidance. Now, overall margins were a beat, but revenue and PAT was largely in line with our poll. Now, in terms of brokerage views, Nomura has given a buy rating and a target price of 21,202. It says that the mobile ramp-up is on track across domestic and export book, and the rising value addition is likely to aid margins going forward. CLSA has given a high conviction outperform rating with the target price raised to 19,000. It expects a 45% PAT CAGR from FY25 to FY28. But on the flip side, JM Financial has downgraded the stock to hold, and target price is cut to 15,650, and it has cited the key reason behind this downgrade. It says that the delay in commencement of production with Vivo and even display sub-assemblies with HKC has cut their estimates for FY26, and also likely increase in competition with the mobile PLI scheme, which is ending next year, is what the brokerage has cited as the key reason for their downgrade. Now, management joined us today morning. It expects 40 to 45% revenue growth in FY26 and 20 to 25 basis points margin expansion in FY26, and it says that the revenue can more than double in the next 2 to 3 years. Management has also indicated that the margin expansion of 90 to 100 basis points, which the brokerages were also estimating, is quite doable in the next 2 years. Listen into what management has to say.
My sense is, revenue-wise, we can expect 40-45% revenue growth this year, And we feel that through operational efficiencies and also through backward integration play, and also through higher contribution of some of our refrigerator business, which is higher margin business, I think so there can be some margin expansion which one can expect in this current fiscal as compared to the last year. I think so 27 can be even a larger growth for us, of course led by mobiles, IT hardware, and of course the other verticals as well. So we expect that in next 2 years, I think so the revenues for the company has the potential to more than double.
Okay, that's a management of Dixon Technologies in terms of the potential of revenues expected to double in the next couple of years as well. Sudip, I just want to understand, what are your thoughts coming in for Dixon Technologies specifically? We had seen that very sharp run-up coming in, that PLI in terms of mobile really worked out well for them. But valuations are too high, right? Despite that split, also the stock again run up. What is your view now for Dixon Technologies? Maybe time for some correction and some newness, given that there are so many EMS players now in the industry.
You're absolutely right. I think the company is working in a segment or in an industry where the growth potential is immense. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And the management's commentary regarding the potential of margin expansion as well as the growth, I think is absolutely right. I don't doubt that. But the problem is the valuation. I think it's already run up so much that to justify the valuation, even based on the the prediction of doubling revenue and business within 2 years, I think still will fall short to meet the P multiples which they are already commanding. So my suggestion will be to wait instead of rushing into Dixon Technologies at this stage. Maybe at some stage there will be some further correction, and then it may be worthwhile looking at it, but not at current levels.
The 52-week high on Dixon Tech was about 19,148. So that's about 18% higher from where the stock currently closed. The IPO market, Sudip, is also buzzed with 6 companies slated to list on bourses in the month of May. So Bellrise Industries' 2,150 crore IPO opened for subscription today. We chatted with the MD Shrikant Shankar Badwe, who said that 75% of the funds being raised will be used for debt repayment.
Current debt stands at about 2,600 crores. We are out of the 2,150 crores. It's a completely fresh issue. All the money is coming into the company. Out of that, 75% is earmarked towards debt repayment and 25% towards general corporate purposes. Past 8 years, we've grown at a 11.5% CAGR, right, whereas the two-wheeler industry in terms of volume has only grown at a 1.4% CAGR.
And staying with the primary market, Schloss Bangalore, which owns the Leela Palaces, hotels as resorts, will be hitting the Dalal Street with a 3,500 crore rupee IPO on May 26. The firm's managing partner, head of real estate for Asia Pacific and Middle East, said that the best years were still ahead for the business. Take a look.
In 5 years, through a period of a lot of global turmoil in the hospitality sector, the business today is bigger by almost 3 times. It has an amazing appeal internationally. It has been ranked as one of the best hotel brands in the world consistently for several years. And I would like to believe that the best years, through the effort that we've put into this business, are still ahead of the business. When we acquired the Leela platform, we realized that this brand has the potential to be what came from other countries and became a global phenomena. And that does not mean that properties have to be in every country. The brand has to be globally recognized.
Okay, the motto is to stay in luxury and make the brand a globally recognized brand. Sudip, you want to quickly weigh in? Have you looked at Bellrise? Do you have any thoughts on Hotel Leela?
So Bellrise, I did have a look, and I think what is most interesting is what they have recently done is acquired a company where the competency of them to serve the 4-wheeler and other segments increases. They were predominantly a 2-wheeler servicing company. They were focused on the 2-wheeler segment. Now with this acquisition, I think they are gaining the competence and capability to service the 4-wheeler segment as well, and that's a pretty large segment. And I'm reasonably confident on this company. I think it's a good issue to look at, and it's a good company to get listed.
Okay, that's a view coming in there in the IPO market. But let's move on. And pharma stocks, they are also in focus, and they were in focus today. What was the reason behind this? What is aiding these stocks? Ekta is here to give us those details. Ekta?
that. Well, I'll start with Sun Pharma. That was in focus because its results come out tomorrow. So the street is anticipating a revenue growth of 9, margin 20. Cipla is in focus because they launched a drug which is used to treat complicated UTIs in India. Come out with a note on Cipla where they said that there could be more competition in one of their key drugs, Abraxane generic. As a pharma company, a Chinese pharma company has received US FDA approval for it. It is estimated dollars in terms of revenue from Abraxane and 5% of FY27 estimated EPS from it. DVS Labs, that stock is up around 4% on a week-to-date basis, came out with its numbers over the weekend, so it's really continued in terms of momentum. Focus on the back of numbers. Citi has a buy, target price 4,000. They believe the margin expansion trend will continue. And lastly, Gland, Nomura, neutral target price with of 1570. They believe that the management expects mid-teen growth in revenue in FY20 versus their current estimate of around 9.5% growth year on year. So a couple of brokerage notes and basically numbers price dominating the pharma space. Jay, any pharma pick that you'd like? Thanks, Ekta.
Definitely, I think that DVS Lab is one such stock which can, give good returns from these levels as well. And the stock is overall in a very good momentum. Relative to any other pharma stock, this is one of the stock which I would say has been trending higher, was quite immune to the kind of fall which we had seen or the correction which we have seen lately. And, the previous fall or the consolidation which we had seen, it was mainly on account of long unwinding and not short build-up. So we did not see any shorts in Davis and rather swing resistances, and with that we have seen a good long build-up rather. So I think yes, DVS Labs is one stock which is likely to head towards the levels of 7,200 to 7,500 positionally, and I think that 6,200 now will act as a very crucial support. Until those levels are held, the overall trend positionally on DVS Lab will be positive.
Okay, let's move on. And today is Tyres that soared 11%, and this is despite a weak quarter due to a positive outlook from the company. Sudarshan Kumar is joining with us to give us more details on this one. Sudarshan.
So Tyre today recorded a gain of more than 10%, biggest single day gain in more than 1 year after reporting a week that was operating. The reason stock has moved higher is due to company's strong outlook given for the next 2 quarters. And what's the reason of strong outlook? It's the company believes that raw material costs, which were largely flat in Q4 of FY25, costs are going to fall further in Q1 of FY26 and Q2 of FY26. For example, just take an example of crude. Brent crude average in Q4 FY25 was around in the range of 7 to per barrel. In Q1 it's down to $61 to $62 per barrel. Also natural rubber prices have fallen further. Now because of these downtick in the prices, company believes that margin will expand in Q1 of FY26 and Q2 of FY26. Another reason that is positive is Mexico business. Company US President has not announced any tariff on Mexico, and that's the reason in Mexico business also margin is going to improve. Regarding EV business, company saying that it has already started supplying to few companies. It is also going to improve the revenue going forward. So on the back of strong outlook, Tyre today was up more than 10%.
Thank you very much, Sudarshan, for that. We'll thank Sudip and Jay as well for joining us on the show. Get into a break. On the other side, top corporate voices, along with that, the key market events to watch. These are the big corporate voices of the day. First up, it's Hindalco. The management says aluminium supply is tight but balanced globally. Further, the spike in alumina price to the shortage fear. The management expects LME alumina $2,300 to $2,600 per ton. Industries, the management expects demand for their defense products to go up post-Operation Sindoor. This anticipates defense is set to contribute 40% to revenues in the next 3 years.
Up next, we are growth year to continue in FY early teens or high growth in FY26. In 2 years, it expects margins to reach 17 to 18%. Lastly, we also had the management of PFC on the channel. The management saw a good loan book growth, spreads to remain in the same 9%. Its distribution and renewable segment that having growth for the company.
And as we wrap the show, let's go up to date with the key market events to watch tomorrow. Vamakshi.
Well, Reema, tomorrow is expiry day, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that. But lots of earnings reactions will also flow through. For Sun Pharma, we also have ITC as well as Grasim reporting their numbers today. From the broader markets, it's Astra Microwave, MTA Tech, Honasa Consumer among several others. Some stocks are also going in tomorrow. Imami, GM Breweries, Ashok. Keep ABFRL as well because the company will be going its demerger. As far as Ola Electric considering fundraising plans via NCDs as well as other methods. Let's also look at some of the top economic cues then. From the US markets, we'll be keeping an eye out on PMI, services PMI data. Apart from that, we'll also look out for the initial job.
And that brings us to a close on this edition of Markets Forward. We'll be back with more news and updates on the other side.